I went to a one-night stand with a ritualist. Story time. During my early 20s, I was dating a guy who I was madly in love with, and on my birthday when I was turning 25, he proposed to me, and just like that, we got engaged. Honestly, at this point, I was living my dream because I had imagined since I was young that at least by 30, I would be married, have some kids, and life would be going on so well with my husband. Unfortunately, after a few months of being engaged, my then fiancé ended up cheating on me, and he was up to no good. So I decided to call off the engagement because I wasn't going to be a wife who was going to have a cheating husband. I called off the engagement, and to be honest, I became depressed for quite some time, and I was just done with being in a relationship. But remember, at that point I was 25, so age was slowly catching up with me, and if you're African, you know that at least by 30, people expect you to be married and the pressure will start coming on. But for 5 years before I turned 30, I had just completely ignored all types of relationships, all types of interests from men, and I just didn't want anything to do with anyone who was called a man. So basically, I had closed off my heart for more than 5 years. As I was getting older, I also started getting bored of being single, so I decided to open my heart, start responding to all the messages I would receive from guys that I would put on hold. So of course, I went to my Facebook, tried to go through all my message requests and all the messages that people had been sending me in the past, and this one guy struck me because he had texted me over the years consistently. It was hi, he would respond to himself saying hi. It was just a continuous conversation, and I had never responded to any of his messages. His perseverance amazed me, so I decided to give him a chance and just respond to his messages. And from the day that I had responded to that message, we never put our phones down, because from that day we connected and were ever talking on the phone. For argument's sake, we'll call this guy Zach. If perfect people exist, then Zach was definitely perfect because he checked off all my boxes. Despite the desperation for a relationship kicking in with me, Zach was still very perfect, even if I took away my desperation. He seemed like a character from a movie, and now looking back at it, now that I'm no longer in that situation, I can tell that me thinking that he's perfect was definitely me just being blindsided by the fact that Zach would tell me everything I wanted to hear, even the most cliche things. By profession, Zach told me that he was an engineer, and unfortunately Zach and I were not in the same city, so when it was finally time to visit each other, I had to go to Zach because he was working, I wasn't, so I was the one with the free time. So it meant that I had to be the one to visit him first. But we know how they say you shouldn't be the one to visit the man first. He should first come to you. When you trust him, then you can go to him. But trust me, I trusted Zach so much because we would video call every time. He introduced me to his siblings. I was able to talk to them on the phone. I just felt like I knew Zach well enough. The day for him to go visit him finally came, and this was 3 months into us talking. I thought I would take the bus to Zach's town because it was barely 3 hours away from where I was living. But no, Zach flew me in, and that sealed the deal for me. In case you're in the backseat and you haven't gotten it by now, Zach was well to do. And if you're an older woman like me and looking for marriage, you definitely know that a stable guy is a big deal, because how are you going to settle down with someone who's not even stable? So I had definitely found my Prince Charming. I finally landed. Zach picked me up from the airport, and when I got to his house, it was a beautiful, elaborate building. The house was so clean and nice. He literally had a walk-in closet. Everything was so beautiful. It was just giving, I am rich. As you know, I was trying to make myself a wife, so when I got there, I cooked. We had a good meal, some wine, just everything that you have ever imagined. I'm available for makeup bookings. The number is in my bio. If you're an adult and you know that I was very attracted to this man, I'm sure we all know what happened that night. After everything had gone down and whatever we were doing was completed, it was finally time to go to bed, and that's when all the drama started to go down. It was finally late at night and I started hearing footsteps. I thought they were outside. I tried to pay more attention, but I just couldn't figure out where the noise was coming from, especially due to the fact that I was not well acquainted with the surrounding of the house. I couldn't place a finger on where the sound was coming from. And as we already established, this house was insanely huge, so it was very difficult to determine where the sound was coming from. Despite my fear, I decided to wake up and try to analyze where the noise was coming from, but immediately my eyes flew open. The noise stopped and it was as if I was just dreaming. So I went back to my sleep. A few minutes after closing my eyes, I heard the noise again, but this time it was no longer footsteps. It sounded like gibberish, but being spoken by adults. The whole time that this was going on, I was facing away from Zach. We were sharing the bed, but he was facing the other side and I was facing on the other side. I decided to just wake him up in case something was going wrong. I didn't want him to lose everything that he had worked so hard for. When I turned, unfortunately, Zach is not there, but it somehow calms me down because I think probably he's the one making all these sounds. Maybe he just woke up to get something in the kitchen, and somehow my heart is calm for a minute. I doze off, but while in my sleep, I get this very urgent urge to pee. Like, if I don't go now, I'll probably probably pee on the bed sheets. Bear in mind that as all this is going on, the sound that I was hearing is still there. It's still the gibberish that I was hearing, no longer the footsteps, and now I'm pressed and I have to go to the bathroom. Remember, Zach had a walk-in closet, so it was designed in such a way that it's his bedroom. When you exit the bedroom, you go into the walk-in closet. After the walk-in closet is another door to your right. In that door, that's where the toilet is. So I had to go through the bedroom, the walk-in closet, finally to the toilet, and I was hearing sounds that I was still not very sure of. I gathered all the confidence that I could, and once I got up and walked into the walk-in closet, that's where I saw all the sounds that I was hearing. Even before I could reach the toilet, I saw Zach and two other guys wearing robes that were extremely long, and I couldn't really tell the texture, but they were not like the bathroom robes that we usually wear. They were black in color, and Zach and those three guys were standing in a semicircle. And it looked like there was something in the middle, but I couldn't quite see it. Zach and the two extra guys were chanting, and it seemed like they were saying something repeatedly. When I walked in, they didn't acknowledge me, but they continued to say whatever they were saying. And when I made just a little noise, it's as if I startled them and they started to laugh without looking back at me. And that was the weirdest shit I've ever gone through. I started to scream, but it was as if I was going through some sort of sleep paralysis, because no matter how much I screamed, I could tell that my voice was not coming out and no one would hear me in such a big house. The louder I screamed, more that Zach and these two other guys were laughing. Before I knew it, it felt like I had fallen asleep while standing, and when I woke up, it was the next day, and I woke up in a bush in a place that I had no idea of. Villagers in that bush started to come along, and they started to apparently call me a witch because I was not fully dressed. Fully is even the wrong statement. I was not dressed at all. These people assumed probably I was into some sort of rituals, but when I explained my story, a woman understood. She gave me something to wrap over myself, and she called a police officer. This man helped me find my way home, and when I got home, I have tried to look for Zach's profile. I have tried to look for his number. I didn't have my phone when I found myself in the bush, so I have no record of any conversation that Zach and I once had. It's as if everything from the time that I went to Zach's place just became a blur. I have no trace of Zach, and it's as if all this that just happened was just a dream. It wasn't a dream because I actually went through this. My advice to everyone is make sure you know where you're going when you go for a sleepover. Anyway, don't forget to book for your makeup. Love you. Bye.